no capital gains when you reinvest the money here in Canada. What do you think?
Well, if your mind wasn't clearly made up, it absolutely should be after this. Pierre Poilievre is coming out with all of the freaking best things for Canadians. He is increasing TFSA top-up, which is phenomenal. He's axing the carbon tax. And then in this video, we're also going to find out that he's basically scrapping capital gains tax if it's reinvested into the Canadian market, which, yes, is passing the buck further on, but it's super freaking cool. It's like a 25% seed buffer. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to take a look at that and a lot of other things in this video. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you all to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really help grow the channel. If you can just do us a favor and click and tap that little bell notification so you can actually be notified of upcoming videos, that would be phenomenal. And if you want some election merch to show your pride for Canada, then visit the link down below in the description or the pinned comment below and get yourself a Canada First embroidered hat. There's Canada First hoodies, Canada First stickers, the whole shebang, even lawn signs. Now, the thing about lawn signs is you have to order it quickly or else you won't get it in time for the election. And use code SAVECANADA to get yourself 20% off. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Starting off with Tesla. Oh my goodness. Tesla takedown in Vancouver is bringing way too much heat for the police department.
A security guard on duty at the Tesla dealership in Kitsilano, where a protest is planned Saturday. Followed by a Tesla takedown Sunday at the East Vancouver construction site for North America's largest Tesla service center.
We'll have a few dozen officers deployed this weekend.
The VPD stepping up its presence at Tesla protests after a spike in apparent politically motivated crimes opposing Tesla CEO Elon Musk's cozy relationship with U.S. President Donald Trump.
Hateful symbols being drawn on cars. We have eggs being thrown at windshields of parked cars. We have cars being keyed. We have windows being smashed.
28 mischiefs under investigation since
Oh my
January
goodness.
20th. 19 occurred at dealerships or charging stations, which had 0 incidents reported last year, while 9 targeted private vehicles.
She bought the car before Elon went crazy.
Tesla users say the vandalism is out of line.
I don't think that's okay, obviously, but if you have your views, it's fine if you're doing it, but in a peaceful manner and you're not harming or destroying anybody else's property.
We're dealing with one person and one person's politics and not necessarily the idea of the company. Elon's done a lot of stuff over the years. I think a lot of it has been good, but what he's doing lately I don't agree with. But that doesn't mean you should protest against cars.
We know people are frustrated with what is going on.
No, it's insane. Every single person that's protesting Tesla and vandalizing Teslas, I mean, these are the same people that are saying we need to put more into carbon taxes and we need to solve climate change and everyone needs to switch to electric vehicles. Yet they're protesting and vandalizing electric vehicles. That same solution to the climate change narrative which is being presented, it's just so hypocritical. I feel like these protesters are just dumb. I don't know how else to say it. They're just literally empty up in the head. I mean, they got a few loose screws or something like that
On right now in the U.S. But by no means are we going to tolerate those frustrations being translated into criminal acts.
Wow.
For democracy, we're not going to let them sweep it under the rug.
Pat McCutcheon organized Langley's recent Tesla takedown.
Moron.
More are planned this weekend in Surrey Saturday and Langley on Sunday. The events intended as peaceful protests targeting the Tesla CEO's wealth and not shaming owners of his vehicles.
We don't have anything against them at all. Our purpose is solely to collapse future sales of the Tesla product. If you're thinking about an opportunity to vandalize Tesla products, we don't want you there.
Kristen Robinson, Global News.
Yeah, maybe get a hobby, read a book, or go to the gym, or go on a walk or something like that. It's just ridiculous. Protesting Tesla and freaking, I mean, even graffitiing and lighting fire Tesla cars and supercharger stations. I mean, what the hell is going on here? The world, who's funding this, by the way? Because these are just protests that are happening in Canada, but I'm sure you've seen the ones in America where they're getting insanely just out of control. Who the heck is actually funding this, right? I think at some point the truth is going to unveil itself. Next up here, we've got Trump's rhetoric, new rules for Canada's visiting U.S. That's right, new rules for Canadians going into America.
It's when life hands you lemons, you take a trip.
And travel agent Kathy Daigle keeps busy helping her clients do just that. These days, she's noticed more are choosing locations other than the United States.
Europe trips are on the rise. People want to go to Portugal, Italy, Spain.
Daigle says the idea of heading stateside has been making travelers anxious ever since Donald Trump took office. And new rules coming into effect April 11th mean Canadians visiting the U.S. for more than 30 days must register with the American government.
Definitely have all your documents, and you can't question. You can't really, like I advise, just be calm.
The rise in Canadian fraud in response to Trump's threats of annexation has already led to a decrease in drivers heading cross-border. Now new figures on air travel between Canada and the U.S. show a drop there as well. Aviation analytics company OAG says airlines have reduced their peak summer capacity by 3.5%. That adds up to 320,000 seats. The industry has also seen bookings for this April plummet 75% compared to the same time last year. The change in travel habits is forcing some tour operators to change course.
We do all kinds of tour, daily trip, weekend trip.
This New Brunswick bus tour company canceled its U.S. shopping excursions due to lack of demand and the effect of the low Canadian dollar.
And now with the new election, new prime minister, probably will be settled, but it could be weeks and weeks and weeks.
Many Canadians making getaway plans now, it seems, choosing to steer clear of the States. Heidi Petracek, Global News, Halifax.
I just find it so difficult to believe that they have an easy way of gauging between amount of travel that has been canceled and rerouted from America to other parts of the world, such as Europe. It's also seasonal, right? It just seems like it's a total bias in this narrative. I don't personally know anybody that has hesitated going into America because of this trade war and the tariffs and Donald Trump's presidency. I think that's an absolute load of crap, and I'm calling it out. And speaking of an absolute load of crap, of course, we're talking about the least likely candidate to become Canada's next prime minister. No, it's not the Green Party. No, it's not even Maxime Bernier with PPC. It's actually Jagmeet Singh. I can't believe this guy. I mean, Pierre Poilievre completely obliterated him. He won't be around. He will not be around much longer after this election. But let's take a look here where he says with full seriousness that he thinks that he's going to be Canada's next prime minister.
But I'm wondering if you could today tell us what success looks like politically in your campaign. I know you're probably going to give me a policy answer, but I'm really looking for what does success look like for you politically? Are you still running to be prime minister?
Absolutely. I want folks to know they've got a real choice in this election. That if you want someone that's going to fight for you, that's us. If you want someone that's going to take on corporate greed in the grocery stores, take on corporate landlords, that's us. If you want someone that's got a real plan to make life more affordable, that's New Democrats. And I've shown you what we can do when we are fighting for you in Ottawa. We deliver dental care, pharmacare, protections for workers, real changes in your lives. Imagine what could happen if you elect more of us. I want folks to have someone fighting for them. I want the folks of Ottawa Centre to have Joel Harden fighting for them. I know that you are going to be better off, you're going to be better served if a New Democrat is fighting for you. So yeah, I'm running to become prime minister because I want a prime minister that actually fights for working class folks, that fights for everyday families, that fights for the middle class every single day in office. And that's going to be me and my team.
Okay, so now that we've gotten over the parody of it all, let's get back into serious candidates, such as Pierre Poilievre, who is, yes, slated to be Canada's next prime minister. Everything that he is proposing is literally in Canadians' best interest. It's not even close. If you look objectively at the policies of what Mark Carney brings to the table and what Pierre Poilievre brings to the table, it's a very clear and obvious decision. At least it is for me, and that would be Pierre Poilievre. So in this video here, Poilievre announces no capital gains on any investment that is reinvested in Canada. This is huge. Stocks, real estate, bonds, businesses, farms, crypto. Sell it and buy a Canadian asset. Capital gains are deferred. This is essentially a 25% incentive to buy Canadian. Now, there is a bit of a discussion here before I play the clip in the comment section. Yukon Strong says kicking a tax on down the road does nothing other than potentially buy foolish votes in the present. Canadians still pay and Ottawa wins. To which Table Salt OP, the original poster, says you have 25% more seed investment. Plug that into a compound interest calculator and see the magic. Now let's take a look at Pierre's words.
By contrast, is to put Canada first. And that is why I am announcing today the Canada First Reinvestment Tax Cut. No capital gains when you reinvest the money here in Canada. What do you think? You agree with that?
That's incredible.
So let's go back to my example. The factory sells the land to the home builder. The home builder builds the home. The factory takes the money and reinvests it immediately in an expansion, hiring more workers, adding more machines, creating more jobs, and helping us to become more independent. 100% of their sale proceeds will go back into that reinvested factory, which means they'll be able to grow more and faster. Or think of companies that have invested abroad. This would allow them to sell those foreign investments and bring it home tax-free. Think of a retiring deli owner who sells his deli and he wants to put the money to work in a safer and more secure, less active investment, the Canadian stock market, money that will then flow into companies that hire workers in this country. Well, he will be able to do that. At the end of the day, this will mean more investment. This will be like economic rocket fuel for Canada to put us in liftoff. We will soar above the Americans. We will reverse the lost liberal decade, and make this country boom. The Americans will see the investment pouring back over the border into Canada, and it will allow us to build the infrastructure we need, pipelines, mines, factories, export terminals that will get our goods overseas, going around the Americans, making us more independent and helping build that economic fortress so that never again do the Americans have us in such a weak position as the Liberals have put us after the lost Liberal decade.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, talk about putting Canada first. Pierre Poilievre is literally giving Canadians all of the best incentives to invest here in Canada. Incredible tax breaks and capital gains breaks. I mean, this is awesome. This is incredible. This is how we grow our economy, by literally putting Canada first, investing in Canadian businesses, producing more here in Canada for Canadians. I mean, I, for one, am all on board with this plan. It's going to be a better quality of life for you, for me, for our kids, for our grandkids, and for future generations. It's an absolute no-brainer. That's not the only incredible thing that Pierre Poilievre announced in his recent press conference. He also brought up the fact that Mark Carney's Liberal candidate put out a literal bounty on somebody, and that's somehow allowed. Let's take a look here. I mean, this is still unbelievable.
Yes, he must be disqualified. I find it incredible that Mark Carney would allow someone to run for his party that called for a Canadian citizen to be handed over to a foreign government on a bounty, a foreign government that would almost certainly execute that Canadian citizen. Think about that for a second. we have a Liberal MP saying that a Canadian citizen should be handed over to a foreign dictatorship to get a bounty so that that citizen could be murdered. And Mark Carney says he should stay on as a candidate. What does that say about whether Mark Carney would protect Canadians? Mark Carney is deeply conflicted. Just in November, he went to Beijing and secured a $250 million loan for his company from a state-owned Chinese bank. He's deeply compromised, and he will never stand up for Canada against any foreign regime. Is another reason why Mr. Carney must show us all his assets, all the money he owes, all the money that his companies owe to foreign hostile regimes. And
yeah, not to mention the fact that he has $25 billion tax haven in Bermuda. I mean, Mark Carney is literally the poster boy for doesn't care about the country, just cares about the job. I can't believe that people are even taking him seriously. He hasn't even lived in this country for like the past 10 or 15 years. The guy is not a Canadian. He doesn't care about Canada or Canadians at all. All he cares about is power and money and benefits and the spotlight, perhaps. And I don't know. I can't wrap my head around how anybody would even support that. But hey, that's my opinion, folks. I would love to know yours. Next up, we've got this really cool ad campaign by Pierre Poilievre and his team. Let's take a look.
Imagine you're a pipe fitter who has to travel from Timmins to Fort Mac, or an oil worker who has to travel from Nova Scotia to offshore fields in Newfoundland. These are the people who build our country, and there are whole communities of them. I've met these workers as I've crossed the country over the last several years, whether they're flying up to Northern Ontario to work in logging operations or mines, or traveling to the British Columbia interior from Alberta to build the liquefaction facilities there. And to do their jobs, they have to travel often 20 times a year. And yet the Carney Trudeau Liberals only allow them to write off $4,000 worth of travel expenses. But you know who doesn't have any limits on what they can write off? Corporate CEOs. CEOs are able to write off their private jets to fly all over the place, even when it would be just as easy to take a commercial flight. Oftentimes, corporations write off these private jets for their CEOs and other executives to benefit from the luxury of global travel, all while their workers make too little money and their consumers pay far too high prices. This is an abuse of our tax system. That's why I'm announcing today that common sense conservatives will stop corporations from writing off private jets used for luxury executive travel. We will only allow corporations to write off the equivalent of a commercial airline flight. And we will pass the Tax Fairness for Traveling Trades Workers Act, allowing our trade workers to write off the full cost of their food, transportation, and accommodation for any job-related trips that go more than 120 kilometers, regardless of whether they require lodgings. We also ensure that charter flights to remote locations with no commercial flight options will be exempt from my law, so that no tradespeople are impacted when they travel to remote areas for work. Trades workers deserve the same tax rules as CEOs when they travel to get the job done. My common sense conservative government will restore Canada's promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work leads to a great life in a beautiful home, on a safe street, protected by brave soldiers under a proud flag. That's what it means to put Canada first. Now let's bring it home.
Wow. Incredible, man. That is just everything that Pierre Poilievre is doing is checking all the right boxes and proving to not only me and likely not to you, but to everybody else, to the entire country, that he is really a man of his word and wants to put Canadians first and put Canada first. And to kind of wrap up this entire video, I have a video here, raw footage video of him meeting some people. I think this is in Mississauga, Ontario. And he's just so relatable and approachable, right? Just a common guy.
All right, what a crew.
Thank you.
Amazing.
You brought me into politics.
How is that? How did I bring you to politics?
Like all Trudeau stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And then I saw you, like the debates on House of Commons.
Yeah.
So confident. You're so confident.
House of Canada.
And what
not House of Commons.
Policies that I'm pushing are going to benefit your family? Is it housing?
Housing, yeah, because I'm
Why are they zoomed in on the handshake?
housing prices, they're like so expensive.
Yeah.
What I was planning, like in the future,
Yes.
everything should be going down because of you.
Yes.
Prices should be going down. It should be much cheaper, everything.
Yes, well, listen, if we get a fourth Liberal term, housing costs will continue to go up. They doubled them already. That's why we need a new Conservative government. We're going to axe the GST on new homes, get the municipalities to speed up the permits to build many new homes so you can afford to buy one and start a life and have a great family here in Canada. That's what it means to put Canada first.
Because I'm training, I'm
Yeah.
co-op as a mechanic right now. I'm going into the trades. Since you're opening more
Yes.
jobs for us, it'll be easy for me to get a job.
Yes.
And since you're getting building permits, I can
Build things.
Yeah, build things. Yeah.
What kind of trade do you want to go in?
I first want to start off just like the regular construction trade, and then go into engineering.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's
And
excellent.
you're gonna help me do that.
Absolutely. We're who's not suits 350,000 placements for apprentices to go in and learn the trades, and the $4,000 grant for apprentices is going to come back. So it'll give you a boost while you're going through. You're going to build a lot of things. We have lots to build. Way to go, my friend.
Thank you so
Thanks very
much.
much for being part of this.
Amazing that you're so in tune and focused on your future. It's very good.
Good to see you. Way to go.
We're gonna go serve some rice. I'm gonna go to serve some rice.
Yes, of course.
Look at that, man. So 16 years old, and he's there worried about the future for himself and I guess his family and stuff like that to be able to afford a house. And he's getting into the trades. And there he is meeting the next Prime Minister of Canada. I find that you're seeing more people now than ever that are I don't know. I don't want to say awake because that kind of enables the conspiracy side of things, but more people are paying attention to politics. He's 16 years old and he's watching debates in House of Commons, House of Canada. We know it's called House of Canada. That's why I have the YouTube channel called House of Canada. I'm trying to brainwash an entire country to believe that it's called House of Canada instead of House of Commons. I think I'm getting there one subscriber at a time. But you got more and more younger people. Everybody, age isn't really a factor. More and more people are paying attention to what's going on because everything in this country has unfortunately been politicized, right? How many bathrooms, the types of bathrooms in schools, in restaurants, that's politicized. Why are they gender neutral? Why not just men and women? Teslas being lit on fire. What's going on with that? Blueberries are twice as much as they were in 2021 or 2019. Doesn't make any sense. Housing is skyrocketing. Everything is out of control. People are forced to pay attention. Even people that I've went to school with. I mean, I was never into politics. I feel like I was forced to pay attention during COVID for politics. That's really when I started to kind of wake up to what was going on. And there's friends that I went to high school with that I know from, younger days and stuff like that, that never, ever, ever, we never mentioned anything political to one another, that are now into politics. Everybody is paying attention. And this is how we fix our country. So ignore the polls, ignore the noise, focus on encouraging your friends and family to subscribe to this YouTube channel, share content like this. But more importantly than that, jokes aside, get out and vote and be educated on what each candidate is bringing forward in terms of their actual policies and who the candidates are. Jagmeet Singh is a cockroach. Nobody trusts him, not even his own party. I write him off. I don't even consider him a real politician at this point. Mark Carney is not a Canadian. Sure, he holds a Canadian passport. That doesn't mean he's Canadian. The guys live abroad. He doesn't care. There's just something weird about him. Weird vibes. Call it Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Whatever you want. The guy is corrupt. People from his own party. Liberals from his own party called a freaking bounty on conservative candidates. And you know what the latest update is on that? The guy isn't being fired or stepping down. In fact, Toronto Star just came out and said, it's okay. As a matter of fact, he's going to still run. So everything about the Liberal Party is absolutely disgusting and disingenuous. How many more scandals do you need to have from the past 10 years up until now for people to be like, hey, maybe these guys are not that good? So for me, my own clear option is the Conservative Party, putting my faith in Pierre Poilievre. But that's my opinion and my decision. I would love to know your guys' opinion down below in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, it would mean the world to me if you guys liked and subscribed, turn post notifications on, and I will see you all in another video. Bye for now.